Hi, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Amanda, Program Director here at the Senior Center in Milford, Connecticut. And this morning you're tuning in to Yoga with Dee. Please make sure that the area you're going to exercise in is free from any hazards that you could trip or bump into. Make sure that you're wearing appropriate clothing, stay hydrated. And if you have
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Greetings. After a good night's sleep, it's like we open up every day to a new slate of possibilities. So think of that as you practice today. You want your mind and your body to focus and be open for any new possibilities that might come your way today. And so with that, and also a reminder, if you do use a block or you need a block, have your block ready. Have a strap or a tie or a belt for that as well. That's helpful.
one more time, please.
So we're going to start this morning with a little breathing. Of course, we are always breathing, but focusing on a technique that is called Ujjayi. Ujjayi, or the victorious breath, and your sound. And so it should be you hearing your breath. The idea, we're going to start with a little open mouth, is to take the breath into the mouth, bring it to the back of the throat, where you feel that little constriction. Okay, so you're doing exhaling through the mouth. Excuse me. That's why you don't breathe with your mouth. Dries it out. Excuse me, and you're coughing. And do the same thing, nasal breathing. Fall. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Listen to the sound of your breathing. The Ujjayi breath helps you focus inwardly, so you're more attuned to how your body is moving and sensations and what you're feeling. Great. I'm going to remind you throughout the class to listen to your breath. Ujjayi breathing. We'll do a few more rounds. Slowly open your eyes. Let's begin by relaxing the arms alongside the body. Whether you're sitting on your mat or sitting in the chair, be sure you're nice and tall. Sink down through the base, lift up through the spine. We're going to just elevate the shoulders to the ears. Elevate them up, very easy, no tension, and release them down. Elevate again, and lower. Elevate, lower, elevate, and lower. Now just a little circling. I like to exaggerate that movement. That just starts to open the chest area, easier to breathe. We'll just isolate one shoulder. And then we're going to reverse it back and forward. Let's do the opposite shoulder, forward and back. And reverse. We're going to have an open fist with the right hand, your left. Closed fist. Press that closed fist into the open fist. Elevate that elbow, don't let it drop down. And begin to press the fist into the palm as you make a circle, rolling. Okay. Opening those pectoral muscles. We're going to change the direction. To get moving, try and exaggerate that movement. We'll just change sides. So I'm opening my left, your right, closing, pressing, at that isometric feeling. Don't drop the elbow. Start to roll. Reverse. And release. I want you to reach behind. You know, if you're on the mat, prop your fingertips behind your hips. If you're in the chair, clasp the outer edges of the chair. Plant your feet firmly on the mat. With a flat back, slowly start to come forward. Slowly come forward. Don't lead with your chin. Chin draws in. Just gazing down towards the earth. Stretch. I'm going to release one arm and I'm going to slowly bring it up alongside my ear, if possible. Stretching through the side of the body, planting my sit bones firmly on the mat so my base is stable. Breathing as I reach. Release that arm down. Do the same thing with the opposite arm. Maybe here, or alongside, bicep alongside the ear. Release. And now both arms. So maybe this is as far as I go. Higher, higher, a little higher. Remember, stabilize. Those feet are pressing down. Sit bones are pressing down. Stretch through the side rib cage. And release. Very nice. We're going to slowly begin to circle the upper thigh. A little circle. And as the body warms up, you can exaggerate. I can drop my head back and drop my head forward. Just easy circle. If you're sitting cross-legged on the mat, change your ankle cross and go in the other direction. Feels good. Come back to a straight spine. Remember, you're sliding to the front edge of your chair, so we can do a seated cat and cow. Press your chest forward, draw your shoulder blades back, squeeze the blades, look up, take a breath in, inhale, ujjayi breathing, exhale through your nose, rounding your spine, drop your head. Come back to center. Now, if you're working on your mat, I want you to take a little lie down. So come to lie on your mat. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Same thing in the chair. Knees are obviously bent, feet are on the floor. But in the chair, come up right onto your toes so you're lifting your heels off the mat, all right? If you can do the same thing lying down, that's fine. If not, don't. Open them about to the outer edges of the mat, and then windshield wiper. Go windshield wiper side to side. We're going to lift the right foot, your left. I'm interlacing my hands around the shin. I'm just going to draw that leg in. Don't lean forward or collapse your spine to get your chest closer to the thigh. It can be further away. I appreciate it if it's further away so that the spine remains elevated and strong, tall. Now relax the foot, shake it out a little bit, and then start to draw some circles in that ankle. Let's remember the other direction. And then you're going to take that outer ankle and rest it on top of your thigh. Hey, good morning, hips. Hey. Now, flex the foot, ankles resting, sit tall in your chair. Reach, hold the outer edges of the chair. Remember that flat back as you extend forward. You're going to come to your edge. You're not going to force it. You're going to come to your ujjayi breathing. Release. And then hold the shin again. Hold that knee. And just circle it a little bit. Open that hip. Go in the other direction. And relax the foot down. Ready to do the other side? Take it up first. Interlace your hands on the shin. Relax the ankle. Roll that foot. Spread those toes. Get your breathing, ujjayi sounding. Opening the hip, outer ankle rests on the thigh. Foot is flexed. It starts to open. I'm holding the seat of the chair. Now, if you're on the mat, it's a little different. You're going to interlace your hands behind that thigh. Right? Show me that in a minute. We're going to tilt forward. Nice. You might be able to come a little further forward. One side is always uneven. Work again to your edge, not pain. Your edge. And then connect with your breath. Go inside. Release. Clasp. Circle. Change direction. Now remember, if you're on the mat, it's a little bit different. Just a little different. And so you're taking the leg in, replacing the outer ankle on the front of the thigh. You're lifting the foot so you can interlace your hands behind that leg. You're lying back down as you draw that thigh towards your chest. At the same time, you're pressing the outside leg away. And then you release and we circle and change direction. Now, come back with the feet on the floor, knees bent up to the ceiling. So come into a bridge pose. I call this moving bridge. So I want you to press down and lift your hips and roll your shoulders down and bring the arms over your head. You're going to lie back down, hug the knees into your chest. You're going to take the arms over your head, straighten the legs. You're going to come back to the beginning position. Moving bridge. Little Apanasana. Extended legs. Back to beginning position. Continue those movements, those 4 movements. Working in a seated position on your chair. We're just going to alternate legs rather than doing both legs at once. I'm pushing into my feet. I'm taking my arms up. I'm arching my back. I'm bringing the knee into my chest. I'm hugging that knee. I'm extending the legs and stretching my arms. And I'm coming back to the beginning position. Raising the arms, arch. Hugging the knee or both legs in if you're on the mat. Extending the leg or both legs back to beginning position. Once more. Press down, arch your spine, reach up, inhale. Exhale, remember your ujjayi breath, strong. Use that ujjayi while you're doing this pose. Open up. Take your feet to the width of your mat. Lift onto your toes if you like. Windshield wiper. Back to your seated position. Now, come to all fours, little hands and knees, all right? Little hands and knees. So if you're on the mat, this is where you're going to use the block. Starting out on hands and knees. You're going to step your right foot forward between your hands. You can take that block on the high edge or the medium edge of the flat edge, whatever works for you. That kind of gives you a little lift. You don't have to reach so far, sink down with your shoulder to get the hand on the mat. And then you're going to press into that block. And the free arm is going to come up into the nice little arch. And then you're going to lean with a lateral stretch towards that front leg, into that front knee. And you're going to release. Bring the knees together. Come to child's pose. Sink back, kick the heels. You can rest your forehead on the block. Holding the block in your hands. Or you can stack your forearms and rest your forehead on your hands. Now, we're going to repeat going to the other side. However, if you're in a chair, very simply, I'm going to turn and I'm going to sit sideways in that chair. So I'm stepping my left foot forward. I'm extending my right leg back. If I'm kneeling on that leg, curl under. I'm going to hold hand on my thigh. Free arm comes up. Lateral bend in towards the front leg. Rising up and releasing. Coming to child's pose. Breath in. Forward. 1, 2, 4, 3. Going to the other side of the chair, just turning. Like that, as if I'm kneeling on that leg. Hand on the thigh. Arm up. And the lateral stretch, leaning again towards the back of the chair. Releasing. Coming back into child's pose. Ujjayi breathing. As soon as you go back and quiet down, go back to the breath. Find your breath. Very nice. Come back to a seated position, either cross-legged on the mat or in the chair. And ease forward. Come forward a little bit. I'm going to rest my forearms on my thighs, relax my wrists, and chin rolls to the chest. You feel you can go a little deeper into the pose and you're sitting cross-legged. You can prop your fingertips in front of your shins as you extend your torso forward. Or you can extend your hands down. You can use the block. Hands on that block. Chin to chest. Slowly release. Good. We're going to come back to hands and knees. Do all fours. And so that means chair folks are going to come up from the seat of the chair to face you. Pressing your palms into the chair. Walking back. Stepping. Foot right up, shin is pressing against the chair so that the knee doesn't go beyond the toes. I'm extending the back leg behind me. I'm keeping the foot on the floor. I'm curling the toes under and I'm pressing the hip back and I'm pressing the heel back. I can feel that wonderful stretch coming right up into the calf area, opening the back of the knee, lengthening the torso. Looking forward, deep breathing, don't sink into your shoulders. Keep your chest lifted. Use those arms. Long, deep breath in and out. We're just going to reverse. Change legs. Comes up. Opposite leg goes back. Remember, keep the foot on the floor. Extend it back. Knee straight but not locked. Toes curled under. Press that heel back and down. You want to feel that stretch coming right up from the heel into that calf especially. Chest lifted. Shoulders down. Deep breath in and out. Nice. Remember, downward facing dog. So back to all fours if you're on the mat. Curl your toes under, move your hips back. Walk arms distance away from the chair. Remember, almost as if you're going to just about take your hands off that chair. My fingers are spread. I'm trying to grip the seat of the chair, use the pads of the fingers. I'm opening my feet nice and wide. I'm pressing my chest towards my thighs. Knees can be bent. You don't have to straighten those knees. Chest down, head completely relaxed, jaw soft. Ujjayi breathing. This is a good time to do that Ujjayi breath. Deep breath in and out to lengthen that spine. Use that breath. We're going to work our way up to stand. So ease your knees. You can lunge one foot forward and then the other, or you can take little baby steps forward. Slowly release and come up to stand. So we're coming right up to the top of the mat. Go to Tadasana this morning. Tadasana. Shake out those arms. Good. Little opening of the shoulders, just a little more. So I want you to bring your arms over your head. Interlace the fingers, reverse the palms, press up. A little bit of a back bend if it feels good. Release the arms, press them out to the side, back and down. Leave the palms as you reach forward. Sweep them behind you, take them over your head. Spread those fingers, palms together, bend your elbows, hands to namaste. Again, reach up, interlace, reverse, pull back bend, press back, press forward, up. Once more, sideways to see it. Take a few resting breaths. I'm going to use the block for a little forward bend. So take your block. If you don't have a block, you can use a book, maybe a nice thick book. And you're going to place it on the narrow edge between your thighs, high up, not down by the knees, but as high up as you can get that block. And then I'm going to walk my feet as close together as I can. And I'm going to squeeze that block with that from the inner thigh. So I'm spreading my toes. I'm planting my feet firmly down. I'm gripping that thigh with that block with my inner thighs. I'm lengthening through the torso. Shoulders are relaxed. Palms open. Now for forward bending, I want you to feel like you're trying to squeeze that block and push it to the wall behind you. Push it to the wall behind you. And notice how you hinge exactly where you need to at your hips. You feel that? That should feel comfortable. So if you're trying to push the block forward and bend, where are you bending? You're bending at your waist. Think again. I've got that block. If I'm pushing it forward, I'm collapsing here. I'm going to injure my back. But if I'm pushing it back, I'm bending where I'm built to bend. At my hinge, at my hip joint. We can come here. You can come here, squeeze that block. Maybe you can come here, or maybe all the way down to the earth. I always say press down to rise up, to push your feet firmly into the earth and slowly rise up. Remove the block, set it off to the side. Come back to Tadasana, top of your mat. Working down from the shoulders down into the torso. I want you to bend your knees, feel like you're sitting back in your chair. Remember, get that booty back. Maybe you need your hands on your thighs. You can't get a little deeper. But if you can bring your forearms onto the thighs, bring the forearms onto the thighs. Right? And stand sideways, so perhaps you can see it a little better. I'm in this little chair position, and I'm inhaling and I'm looking forward, really running across my low back area, taking a deep breath in. And then I'm going to press the thighs back with my forearms. Press them back, press them back, press them back. Remember, you're squeezing that block. You're pushing that block back. Opening the hamstrings. Back into your little chair. Inhale. That chest arch. Exhale, press back. Ujjayi breathing. Inhale. And release and stand. Nice work. Come back to the top of the mat. We're going to open up into a triangle pose. So rather than step behind me, I'm going to do this little sideways. Where I have my mat. Take the chair off to the side. Block. Very simply. Coming into our active mountain, I'm squeezing that block. I still have that sensation that the block's there. Squeezing that block and livening my legs. Drawing the arms over my shoulders. Coming into active mountain. Inhaling the breath, Ujjayi breath. I'm going to step back with that outside leg. I'm going to toe open to that leg. And I'm preparing to come into triangle pose. And so it's a release from the hips. It's not jamming the hip back, but it's a release from the hip. The hips are extending one way, the torso is extending the other way. So again, let the hips release. Torso extend. Feel like you're gliding your arm along the shelf. Don't drop it down. Keep gliding. And then just change the position of the arms. Oftentimes what I see is, whoop, I'm into the pose. Then you start to jam the hip. We don't want that. So you have your glide, the release. There's your triangle. You don't have to get to the floor. There's your triangle. Ujjayi breathing. Little dangling triangle. Some people want to rest that hand to allow the upper body to be supported. Don't do that. Use your legs. Use your spine. So I'm going to take that bottom arm, wrap it behind my waist. Little dangling triangle for Christmas. Don't lift your head, release. Part of your spine. Rise back up. Release. Turn your feet forward. Now here's where we heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Step back to the top of your mat. Move from the soles of the feet to the crown of the head, back to your Tadasana. Remember, this is your posture pose. This is balance. This is alignment. New possibilities today. Active mountain, press down, rise up, take your deep breath in. Opposite leg comes back, turn. Remember, you're releasing the hips, not jamming, you're gliding. Smooth movement. There you go. Use the support of your muscles to support the spine, support the legs. Dangling triangle. Rise back up. Toes parallel. Relax your arms. Heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes. And back to your mountain pose. Nice work. We're going to do what I call a little windmill. Just have to get the energy building a little bit more this morning. I want you to take your feet to the outer edge of your mat. Arms are out, T position. And I'm going to start to bring the opposite arm across my body. I'm going to come down, back to the beginning. Opposite arm comes up. Over, remember, opposite arm. Circling. Now, in order to balance it out, we have to go to the opposite side. So I'm going to start by bringing opposite arm. I'm going over to my right, your left. More. And release. Bring your feet back together. Build from the soles of the feet to the crown of the head. Go back to your Ujjayi breath. Then another little series of movements. When you link some movements together, it's called a vinyasa, like a little dance. So I'm going to go sideways, much easier to see for you. We're starting into Tadasana. All standing poses originate from the mountain pose, the posture pose. Active mountain, deep breath in. I come to warrior one. So stepping leap, leg back, softening that front knee. You can have the arms wide. Or you can slowly start to bring them closer together. And maybe even the palms are going to touch. In our little warrior one pose. If it bothers your back, if you feel any pinching in the back, then tilt forward, remain forward. So you have that nice long line through your torso. Remember when we were seated, that nice long line we had? Now I'm going to open to my back leg. I might want to separate my feet a little wider for my warrior two, because you'd like to have your feet further apart for triangle warrior. Little fingers are drawing back, so the shoulder blades are just coming together, and the chest is open. Ujjayi breath. Ever so gently come into your peaceful warrior, back hand to thigh. Lead with the front palm, like you're actually lifting something, opening that rib cage, opening your heart. Peaceful warrior. And now we're going to come into humble warrior. That's a little forward fold bend. You might want to use a strap here, holding two ends of the strap in your hands. Or you just might want to keep the hands separated without the strap. Or you might want to even bring the hands together and interlace the fingers and straighten the elbows. And then you're going to bow over that front leg. So you might just take a little peek, or you might come a little further forward. Depends on how you feel. Remember, you're using the strength of both legs for your support. You're using that ujjayi breath that keeps everything focused, helps you to remain stable. Breathing deeply, releasing, feet parallel, heel and toe back together, and you're back to the beginning position. Take a few resting breaths so you can allow your mind to catch up with the movement, because you're going to do it on the other side. Same thing again, just turning sideways. Active mountain. Deep breath in. Warrior one's the first pose. Outside leg steps back. Remember, it's not on a tightrope. It's not behind the front leg. It's hip width apart. Again, you can stay here if the back bothers you. Or you can deepen your little back bend. Try not to have one shoulder behind the other. Keep those shoulders even. You're going to start to open to the back leg. Remember, maybe you want to stay close together, or maybe you want to open wider. Arms back, chest open. Ujjayi breath. Don't hunch your shoulders. Peaceful. Easing ever so gently. Like a dance. Coming again into your humble warrior. Separated arms, tied, belt, or interlace. Hold that front leg maybe a little deeper. Rising back up. Feet parallel, heel and toe. Tadasana. Take your resting breath. We're going to come into side angle pose. So again, I'm going to just open so that you can see it. Staring into Tadasana. Rounding down to the base, raising the arms into the air. Stepping back as if I'm opening into warrior two. But this time I'm going to glide forward. Remember, forearm's going to come onto the thigh. Back arm's going to squeeze down. If you're uncomfortable, if you have a shoulder issue, you can keep the hand on the hip, or you can wrap the hand behind your waist. There's many modifications. Use them. Remind yourself, don't force your body to fit the pose. Make the pose fit you. Rising back up, feet parallel, hands to hips, elbows back, spread your toes, flat back, start to come forward. 1, 2, or 3, wherever you want to go. And then just bend one knee, shift the weight. Straighten. Bend the other knee, shift the weight. Straighten. Heel and toe your feet back together and back to home. Take a few resting breaths. Then repeat on the other side. Parsvattanasana. Raise the arms over your head. Press down to rise up. Deep breath in. Generous step back with that outside leg. From warrior two, going right into side angle. If you're comfortable, roll that shoulder open. I'm not supporting myself on that leg. You can lift that arm, or here, or here. Try breathing. Rising up. Toes forward. Toes in, heels out. Hands to hips. Deep breath in. Remember, you're hinging at your hips. 1, 2, 3. Shift the weight side to side. Hands to the thighs. Rise up, heel and toe your feet together, and back to the top of the space. Ready to come back to sit, so bring your chair forward. If you are sitting on the floor, I want you to ease into your forward bend, plant your hands, walk your feet back. Remember, I'm coming into my downward dog, so I want to press away, get out of those shoulders, get the weight into the legs, the hips. Downward dog, knees down, child's pose. Chair, folks. Onto your chair. Downward dog. Child. Now come up to a seated position. So we're going to come into Dandasana. That means if you're on the floor, your legs are extended forward, knees are straight, prop down your heels, move the flesh from your sit bones, sit nice and tall, reach up. Now, we're going to swing, bend the knees, we're going to swing both of the legs over to my right or to your left if you're facing. Both of the legs are coming over. Now, you can keep the knees together or you can separate the knees. It might be more comfortable for your hips. Separate the legs. Either together or separated. Okay? I'm going to take a twist. So I'm turning away from my feet. I'm bringing both hands over to the front leg. So I'm keeping the spine lifted. It's a little rotation through my rib cage. My shoulders are broad. My chest is open. And I'm slowly spinning. Release. Take the legs back together. Now, hands on your knees, or reach around if you're on the mat, hug your shins, and rock from side to side. Your chest. Both legs are going to the opposite side, knees together, knees separated. Feels best. Both hands come away from the legs. Prop them on the chair. Lengthen through your torso. Remember the rib cage is starting to rotate. The shoulder, then the head. Can I hear your breathing, your Ujjayi breath? Close your eyes and internalize. Open to any possibilities that may arise for you today. And come back to center. And so simply, if you're on the mat, got that little shin, we're hugging the shin, rocking side to side, legs straight, over to one side. Remember, together or apart, either or, whichever feels best for your hips, best for your stable support. Both hands come outside of the thigh. Lengthen through your torso, then begin to revolve. Navel, waist, ribs, shoulder. And back to center. Knees and feet together. Hug those shins, press down, lift up. How about a little boat? Can you lift the feet? I'm holding the thighs. I'm not holding the thighs. I'm raising the lower leg. Come into your boat pose. On the chair, Make sure you're seated at the front edge of the chair, arms up, lean back, find your core, find your center. You don't have to lift the feet, but maybe they'll come up. It's a challenge on the chair, it really is. Nice. Come back, little Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of the feet together if you're on the floor. Open the knees nice and wide. You're holding your shins or your ankles or your feet. In the chair, I like knees and feet both open. Press down through your base, lift up through your spine. Take a breath in, lean back, and slowly come forward. Now don't collapse your spine. Come as far forward as you can with that long, flat back, and then relax into a forward fold. Slowly rise up. Come to sit comfortably in your chair, sliding your spine to the back edge of the chair. Those of you that are on the mat, lie down on your back. We're going to come to Apanasana. That means if you're lying down, you're going to bring those knees right into your chest. If you're seated, you're going to bring your chest forward to your knees, and you're going to rock from side to side. Come back to stillness. Now lower your feet to the mat if you're on the mat, lying down. Sit correctly in your chair. Take your right foot off of the floor, interlace your hands at the back of that thigh. Flex the foot, push the heel and the sole of the foot, extend that leg forward. Now, I'm going to have one hand hold on to the thigh. The free hand is going to come onto the front of the opposite knee or thigh. And as I push the hand into that leg, I'm going to draw the other leg closer to my torso. Pressing strongly through that heel. Then hug the knee to your chest and lower that foot to the floor. Do the same thing on the opposite leg. Lift it up, interlace hands at the back of the thigh, flex the foot, press through the sole of the foot, don't lock the knee, feel that extension. I'll keep holding it, same arm, same leg. Free hand comes to that thigh. Now I'm pushing that thigh or pushing that hip away, extending the straight leg, drawing it closer. And bend the knee, hug the knee to your chest, and lower the foot to the floor. You're going to come into reclining cobbler's pose. So if you're lying on the mat, that means the soles of the feet to come together, pelvis and the hips and the knees open. In the chair, knees and feet are wide. Rest your hands on your lower belly, close your eyes, Ujjayi, breathe in. Go back to that victorious breath. Bring your hands to your outer thighs and draw your legs together. Take your feet off the floor if you're lying down. Bring your knees to your chest, up and up and up. In the chair, take your chest to your knees. Hold on. Rock side to side. Release, sit correctly in your chair. Release your feet to the floor, lie with your knees bent, your feet on the mat, upper torso on the mat. I'm going to invite you to slide your hips over to the right. Let your knees fall to the left. And let both of your arms just come right across your belly, over to the right. Knees are going in one direction, arms and head are going in the other direction. I'm leaning into that chair. I'm allowing the earth to open up and support my body if I'm on the mat. I'm finding my ujjayi breathing, my eyes are closed, and internalizing sensations and thoughts. Slowly release, come back to center, adjust your hips. And we're going to go to the other side. So I'm going to slide my hips to the left so my knees can fold, drifting away from my knees. My spine is supported with the chair or on the mat. My head rolls with my arms. My eyes are closed. My ujjayi breath is deep and slow. It's like I've got a seashell to my ear. I can hear the same sound. And back to center. On the mat, you'd like to come into a little bridge pose, not moving this time. Keep your hands alongside your body. Press your feet into the mat, lift your hips into the air and your pelvis. If you're in the chair, I'm just going to push my feet down, I'm going to press my arms down, pressing my chest forward, holding my heart, not dropping my head back. Remember, there's a natural curve to that neck, jaw soft. Release. Little happy baby, if you're on the floor, you can bring both knees into your chest. You can reach to the outside of your calves, your shins, your feet. Draw those knees to your armpits. Lower legs are perpendicular. In the chair, we're doing one leg at a time, so I'm coming here, maybe here, or maybe here. Release. Same thing with the other leg. Here, here, here. That's your armpit. And release. Any other little pose that your body is asking of you, maybe a forward bend, maybe another little twist, or maybe you're ready for Shavasana. The icing on the cake is Shavasana. Remember, at least 5 minutes. When you take this length of this long of class, 5 minutes minimum. So set yourself up, remain warm, have a blanket, something or a little throw over you so that you remain warm. Sit correctly in your chair, feet firmly down. If you are short and your chair is a little higher, you can always use that block and place your feet on that block. Floor up a little closer to you. We're going to rest our hands on our legs or alongside your body. You're going to softly close your eyes, relax your jaw. Take a little scan of your body from the top of your head to your feet, balancing the weight evenly between one side and then the other. Starting to relax and open. Allow the earth, solid matter beneath you to support your head. You feel comfortable and alignment. Relax, bring your focus back to your breathing. Our ujjayi breath. Stay in Shavasana for as long as you fresh. When you're ready to come out, take your time, just as you did going into the pose, awakening the muscles, the hands, the feet, the legs, hugging the knees into the chest for Asana. Slowly working your way up to a seated position. Bring your palms together. Namaste. Light in the honors of light in you. And peace. The definition of peace is when time doesn't matter as it passes. Thank you for joining me this morning. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.